Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Passing the Torch. This is episode number 8. My name is Marcus, and this is the podcast by Growth Mentor. Why is it a special episode? Because this is the last episode I'm recording in my studio. This beautiful studio that I've seen many videos being recorded. And the reason is because I'm moving to a different country, so I cannot take the studio with me. I will let you know more about what am I doing, but today the focus is into my two incredible guests, which is Jed and Sophia, the founders of Cozy Juicy Reel. I know that doesn't make much sense right now to you, but it will make sense throughout the podcast. So learn how these guys, they build this amazing product that is going to blow your mind, especially if you're in HR. And with that being said, I just want to invite you to subscribe to our podcast, to follow our social media channels, and to stick around for the following conversation. Okay, well, hello guys, nice to have you in the last official episode in my studio. So it's great to finish this half season with you guys. It's amazing, and I'm going to let everybody know what you guys are doing and how we met and all of those things. But first of all, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Thank you for having us, and it's good to see you again, Mark.
I know, right? It's been a while. So before we get into the Cozy Juicy Reel, which for now doesn't make sense to you guys watching, but it will make a lot of sense when they tell us the story of how this started and where is it going. But obviously, because it's the Growth Mentor podcast, I want to touch this bit first and get it out of the way. What's the relationship that you guys had with Growth Mentor, and how did you use that help into the stuff that you're developing that we're going to cover in a second? So cool. How did it start?
Well, Sophia, you found out about Growth Mentor, didn't you?
I did, and I actually don't remember how exactly.
It's one of the things, word of mouth.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember if I searched and found something or what. But as soon as I found it, I was like, we have to do this. We were just starting out. We were an early company. So it's just Jed and me. It was just Jed and me. Now we've got a couple of people that work with us. But at the time, it was kind of like, we need outside support. Like, we need people that know this. Am I allowed to swear?
Oh, absolutely. Don't worry. I'll bleep it if
that know their shit. We need people that know their shit. And so, we kind of signed up for a year. And ever since, we've been using it. I think we've been members for, 3 years now?
It's been a long time. I was just looking on the platform. We've done 36 sessions over the last few years. Yeah.
And I think more like just ad hoc, kind of like repeat with people who have been up for kind of just catching up, like touching base, say a week later, 2 weeks later or whatever.
A little checkup.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's been amazing, personally. Like,
so what was the first problem that you guys got? I mean, what was the first thing that pushed you, like, all right, we need extra help? Was it just the branding, just to make sure the idea was good? What was the first thing you said, like, all right, we need an extra voice into this?
The first few sessions were about customers and customer journey, like understanding, because, you're setting up a new business. You don't understand who your customer is. You don't understand how they're finding out about you or what their experience is like. And, I've run a business before, but every business is completely different. And it wasn't until we started using Growth Mentor where we were like, oh my God, there are so many, like, not just people who are knowledgeable, people who are experts in each of these different fields, like really specialists. And that's been what's cool for us, is like, we can go and find somebody who really knows their shit about Facebook ads, who really knows their shit about customer journeys, who really knows their shit about LinkedIn. And they'll just share all of their knowledge with us that they've taken years to gain. And it just helps us not waste our time. So that's been some of the best things.
That's one of the things that it really works, it keeps me happy from Growth Mentor. There's nobody trying to pitch you a service or anything. It's just like, all right, well, professional to professional conversation, and it works. Right.
Yeah. People have been so nice. And you are one of those people. I remember, like, early on, I think you were one of our first.
It was definitely a long time ago. It was definitely in the early days, yeah.
And I remember one thing, like, always stuck out. You were like, for a game, your Instagram is not colorful enough. and not fun enough. And I was like, you're so right. Like, what are we doing? This is all about play. And like, I mean, there's some serious element, which we'll talk about soon, I'm sure. But it's a game. And like, that really stuck out. So yeah, thank you.
And I had to say, I checked all of your social media before the call too. And it's a massive change. I mean, you guys are rocking your style. You have an incredible voice, and I'm using this as an intro too, to explain people what Cozy Juicy Real is. Because when I heard it, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are trying to sell. Is it an ice cream? Do you eat it? How does it work? So I'm going to let you guys explain how Cozy Juicy Real came up as an idea and how it developed. So please, the stage is yours.
Game with a funny name.
Yeah, for sure. The name really throws people. And we've never been like 100% about the name, but it's the name. We're going with it. So basically we were living in London in like 2016. And we were finding that we would like, because we're really social people. We're coaches, we're facilitators. And I don't know if you have any friends who are coaches, but like coaches are the kind of people, in my experience, who like to have like substantive, meaningful hangouts. Like we want our relationships to be meaningful. We want them to be interesting. We want them to be juicy. So,
nice.
So like we would meet up with friends. I don't know if you've ever like lived in a major city, but like London, 9 million people. It's huge. We're cyclists. Whether you're cycling or taking the tube, if you want to visit a friend in London and hang out, it's like a big commitment. It's an hour to go see them, an hour to get back.
At least.
It's raining. Like, it's a pain in the ass. So, you want that time to be really valuable. And what we were finding is that we meet up with friends, and sometimes it was really great. And sometimes it was like a kind of catch up. Like, I've been doing this. I've been watching this. And it just wasn't as meaningful. It wasn't like going to the layers of our humanity that we all know are there, but sometimes we forget about, or the conversation doesn't flow there naturally. And we're like, look, we know there's a better way to do this, right? We know there's a better way because we all have connecting conversations. We're coaches, so we know we can get there, but we're playful people. So we're like, what if there were a game, right? You know what it's like, a startup, you're like, there's some crazy idea. What if there was a game, right? Oh, maybe a board game that helped people have more interesting, meaningful, connecting conversations. And so that's all we had in the beginning. And like from there, it was like a multi-year process to develop like what we have now, which is like, a physical
game. Yeah.
And an online game that we do for like teams and team building, all of that. But, that's like, it took us a long time to get there.
It did.
So in the beginning, it was just basically sort of a session, right? It was just you guys talking to people. Let's get him involved into a game because it didn't start as a board game. It was more of the idea of the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, so what Jed touched on is kind of like we're both coaches, but we didn't like being the people that were always facilitating conversations. Like that was the awkward part. So, like in reality, the very first idea was actually to do an app.
Okay.
We were like, let's prototype the app. And what's the easiest way to prototype an app? Let's make a physical version. So we actually just kind of created a physical version of the idea on like paper and just wrote questions on pieces of paper as cards and stuff. And it was a bit terrible at first.
like everything, don't worry.
People would play, they'd give us feedback, we'd introduce something, change something, try something new, and then see where it went. And like we just like throw out the bad ideas and keep the good ones. And eventually it became a board game that it is now. But it kind of just like what we've been told about having a game to facilitate meaningful and fun conversations is that it takes the pressure off everyone. Like no one is having to think of a question. No one is having to like feel like they're the ones asking those questions and
so it's sort of a structure.
Yeah, exactly. It also balances the conversation because everyone has a turn. So there's not just one person that like dominates and talks the whole time and like someone's just kind of like,
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I remember sort of activities like that from HR and different companies and like, all right, so who wants to start? No, wait, nobody wants to start. Nobody wants to get involved. But I mean, giving it the structure makes a total sense because it's even weird to say, but it's like gamifying a game. So it's like, right, we're not pushing you out of your comfort zone. You're just joining the fun, which is one of the things I love about it. Now, when we talked again a few years ago, this was around the time of the pandemic, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Did the pandemic sort of help you guys to either prototype more or to push the game into like, look, this is an essential part of keep that human connection that Jed was saying? So did it help or did it work the other way around?
Both.
Yeah. At first we were like, what the hell do we do? Because at first we had a physical product.
The board game.
And then once we figured out how to put it online, then it was like, it opened so many doors because you remember everybody was working online, no matter where they were in the world.
Yeah. And so many people didn't know how to connect.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, what do we do? How do we have those conversations that are like water cooler kind of conversations? So in a way it was negative because we were kind of like, we were planning to do a Kickstarter and make a board game, and now no one's going out and doing anything or meeting up. And then, when we took it online, it kind of like went on its own tangent of an online game. And team building was really popular, community building, and even for friends and family.
Now, how did you guys take it? Because I mean, I have to say, and if you go, if you're listening to this and go and check the customers that the guys have, is a very impressive list. Like, how did you manage to push your brand into like companies like Google or Nike or whatever? I mean, it's a growth that it doesn't happen all the time that sort of fast. I'm sure there's a lot of hard work behind, absolutely, but your game is becoming part of companies' initiatives into keeping that humanity in their teams. Like, how was sort of your business development process to get there?
Yeah. Look, I don't know if we're lucky. I think that because we've done almost no marketing, right? The only marketing we've ever done is sometimes conferences. We'll connect with a conference and they need like a networking, get to know other conference attendees, right? So sometimes we'll offer something for conference people who go there to connect, get to know each other in a meaningful way. That's it. Otherwise, and this is why I say maybe we're lucky. Yeah, we do. I'm always curious, like what social media does.
We do
How much
something.
does social media do, you know?
I know, I don't know.
I know. So like, I really, because it took us years to develop the product and we really put a lot of love and a lot of intention and we play tested that game hundreds of times, right? And we're still perfecting it. I think because we put so much time into the product development part of this project that we have something now that really resonates. And so people talk about it. It's different than anything else that I've seen out there. There's a lot of online events. Some of them are really high quality to like get to know people. But I think this combination of things is unique. And so because of that, people talk. So oftentimes I'll get like people will schedule calls with me, you know, from a business and they'll say, you know, we're thinking about doing a team building event for you. Like they're working for one of these companies you're talking about, Google, Nike, et cetera. And you know, I've got a bit of the imposter syndrome. So I'm always like, ooh, this is exciting.
We all
so I asked the question. Yeah, we can talk about that later. So I asked the question, like, how did you find out about Cozy Juicy Real? And they're like, oh, some Slack channel or some newsletter. And it's nothing I've ever heard of. It's just people have played it and it's been out there for a few years and people talk, and that's how the road has gone.
But
and also people.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like, but yeah, people move companies. That's the other thing that often happens is they're like, oh, I played it at blah, blah, blah. And now I'm working with Google, for example, and I want to do it with my team. And so like they've tried it before and they want to bring it to their new place, which is also really common, I think.
But that's definitely the best way. I mean, that's not, I mean, that is pure marketing, but it's the good kind of marketing. So it's not that you guys are spending tons in PPC and ads and stuff. And that's something that I, as a branding side of the story myself, I love the tone of voice that you guys develop. I mean, it sort of put the founders behind the brand, and the brand took this personality on its own. And every time you guys talk, even though you talk about your story, I feel that there is a personality to Cozy Juicy Real that is clear now, and is attractive and is fun. So it's like you want to hang out with Cozy Juicy Real. I mean,
That's nice to hear.
No, so in that sense, I think it's absolutely a good job. And something I want to and I don't want to touch it to change the subject of the whole podcast, but you guys are a couple, and you literally breathe this 24 hours. I hope not 24 hours, but probably a lot. So how's it to develop a not only a product, a company together? Is like, has it been like hard moments, or how are you guys trying to balance this work life, especially as a couple?
Mm-hmm. You can see by like Sophia's smile.
For both of us.
Sometimes we do this well, sometimes we suck at this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think working with you, I think, being in a relationship, I've got humility about it. We're married. We've been in a relationship for 8 years. We've been married for 7 years. I before getting married, I always like thought, I'm gonna be that guy like who's like in a relationship and like everything's always calm and like we don't have fights. Like I'm much more humble now.
Now you know.
Like if you want to be in a relationship, you're gonna be doing work unless you're like the Buddha. And if you want to be in a relationship and have a business with your partner, you're gonna be doing a lot of negotiation, and that's just gonna be part of the territory, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to answer your question, not always easy. And I also think, I think we both think we make a really good team. Like I have strengths and Jed has strengths that work really well together. And so, so I think it's actually been really fun to explore the relationship in that way also. Is having a really kind of similar vision and values. So wanting to build something together that kind of like has the same kind of mission has been really awesome. And really fun. Like, that's I think cool. Like we both said, really playful. So it's also been really fun and creative.
I mean, that's really cool because you guys are, I mean, your example, putting the couple part aside, is exactly how I guess companies should find co-founders or the managing team. I mean, they need to have some sort of a similar values, and they need to pull the same direction. I mean, it's amazing that happened to you guys as a couple. I mean, it's just a plus. Yeah. Going into this growth of the company, right? When we talked, it was just the two of you guys doing everything, and I remember you guys being like super busy into every little detail. But now you've been hiring people, right? How many people you have working on the team?
So right now, 2 people. We did have 3 at some point, just to kind of help with other things. And we also hire like external people for like copywriting, or like right now we have a web app developer who's building our Cozy Juicy Real app, which we're super excited about. So we still use kind of freelancers for extra help, but we've got 2 full-time people.
How much bigger do you want to grow the team? I mean, or how do you envision this? Because obviously everything starts with a little project, and then you need more people to cover certain things, and then suddenly it will be Cozy Juicy Real Part 2. I don't want. There's no spoilers in here. I don't know anything, so I'm sort of asking too. Like, what's coming next? Like, where are you guys going next with the idea? Because the product is great, it looks amazing. Mm-hmm. How do you take this to a next level?
So rather than growing a bigger team, we're going to be moving more in the direction of the SaaS model. So we've been either us or our trained facilitators will host team building events, right? And so that requires a lot of human hours to do that. And we're going to keep doing that, and our facilitators will keep doing that, ongoing. But like Sophia was saying, we've hired a web developer. So we're developing an app that will be able to host events for smaller teams without needing a human facilitator. It won't be like the full bells and whistles of a human facilitated event, but it's going to be able to be a great solution for smaller teams, especially teams with smaller budgets, right? Because having a human there is obviously going to increase the cost of budget. So a lot of our events are going to be run they're going to be able to have a SaaS subscription, and that will mean that we don't have to be facilitating as many events. So I think that's the next big evolution of the company, is rather than growing the team bigger, is just being able to do the same or more, but not
efficiently.
without having
with the
to have
resources, with the same
more people
resources.
to manage.
Yeah.
That is
'Cause we've
really cool.
Often been asked by smaller teams, and then it just doesn't really make sense for them. And also the time, like having to schedule a time, has been a bit challenging for some people. So having a self-facilitated version, I think, is going to be a really cool shift.
I love the growth in that area. And from, again, because marketing is my thing. What do you think is the key thing? So you mentioned the social media. I sort of agree. Does it work? Doesn't it work? I mean, what's exactly the influence that it has in the sales or whatever? That's always a big discussion. But what do you think is the best marketing move that you guys have done since inventing Cozy Juicy Real? Something that you, beside the luck, because I think it's more than luck, it's probably a lot of hard work. But there must be something that is your favorite thing. Like, no, we need to double down on this.
I think outreach to communities, like being able to play for, like being able to facilitate events for large groups, whether it's through conferences. We've also done meetup.com events, like just for free, and other community events like that. Like today we're doing Wednesday Wed Jam. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of that, but it's just a great community. And so being able to like share it with communities like that who get to play, because it's one of those games where you can't really imagine it or see the value until you play. And when you play, you're like, oh, I want to do this with these people, or I want to do it here. It's like, that's how it's shared the most. And I think that's the most kind of valuable outlet for us. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys, because we've been talking about the game a lot, and like you said, it's not something you understand until you play it. So how will you pitch the idea or the solution behind Cozy Juicy Real, which I'm sure you guys try or tested many ways, but what's your favorite way to explain what Cozy Juicy Real does as a result?
Yeah, this is one of the things that I incessantly feel like I need to be better at, like the pitch. You got like 60 seconds to sell the idea. But I think, and Sophia can add to this, but I think the real valuable thing about the game, especially for people who are on remote teams, is that deeper connection piece, right? It's like you start off with, okay, that's my supervisor. That's the guy who works in the marketing team. You know, that's the woman who works in the sales team, whatever. At the end of an event, people are people, right? We're humans. We're seeing eye to eye. And like, believe it or not, even people who don't think they want to go there often, people want to go to a place of connection. And so if you give them an easy way to do that, like an easy excuse to do that, people just kind of let go in a really surprising way. And they share things about themselves that they're surprised by, because it's easier than we realize when you're in a safe space. And that's one of the things the game does is helps to create a safe space where there's affirmation, where we can choose to go as light or as deep as we want to go. There's all these mechanics built in, right? So that people feel safe. And so by the end, you don't just see that person as that person in that team, that person in that team. It's like you've seen them as another human. There's a shared humanity piece. And after that, you can reach out to that person for anything business context, and you have this foundation of a relationship now. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. I have a hard time explaining that when people want to talk about what is a Cozy Juicy Real event. You know, what would it do for my company? I have a hard time explaining it. Like Sophia said, until you play it, you don't really, but I do my best. And that's my 3-minute elevator pitch.
Yeah. And I think doing a demo, like that's the other thing. So I'm wondering if you're up for answering a question. Mark.
No, absolutely. Because that's sort of the essence that I wanted to take from that, from what you were supposed to answer, which is exactly what I was expecting. But it's just is that you're solving a huge problem into teams where people see each other as positions, as this is the manager, this is the intern, whatever, and eventually you end up being the humans. This is John now. This is Beth. So you get to learn the names. You get to learn their likes. So I mean, it's a super necessary. This is not a nice to have. This is something that really builds the structure or the strength of teams in different companies. And the fact that all of these big companies are choosing you guys it's just proof. Just to, I always try to ask for some time towards the end of clever questions, but I always get lost in the story. So I wanted to go back and ask you to, what can you pinpoint that was your biggest mistake or something that set you back in this journey? Something that you feel like, oh my God, like, why did we do that? And we invested so much time or money into trying to do that and didn't bring any result. Do you have something that is like still there?
I have two answers. I'm sure yours.
We've made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, you go first.
Well, the two that are coming to my mind, one is social media. I think investing a lot of time trying to like do that right and finding like just buying our heads like over and over and over again. And then the other is not so much of a doing something, but not doing something. I wish that we'd started the app earlier, like building our own web app sooner. That would be my two that come to my mind, like very obviously.
Yeah.
Any others?
Well, you were talking about social media. We spent a lot of money. We recently did a Kickstarter so that we could raise the money to create the physical board game, right? Because that takes a chunk of change to do. So, we wasted a lot of time on Facebook ads and reaching out to influencers and a lot of projects that really never came to fruition. We found some things that came to fruition, but a lot of them were a waste of time. And we spent a chunk of change on Facebook ads, which really didn't do much. They didn't do nothing. The Facebook ads helped us hone in on our copy, hone in on the images that resonate with people, but as like a way to actually spread the word and like generate sales. Not for us anyway.
Yeah, no. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, for me, it's still a mystery how sometimes we invest all this time and money in things that we can measure. But again, in my opinion, the way you guys develop your tone of voice is on point. It's great.
Thanks.
So for people who are curious about Cozy Juice Real, or for companies that are listening to this and they're like, all right, well, we need something to keep these people human because they're not acting like humans now, they're acting like crazy workers. So how can they reach out to you, and how can either get the board of the game or just to get a proper session with you guys?
Yeah. If they go to our website, they can Google Cozy Juicy Real if they can remember the name.
Oh, I will add the link. Absolutely.
Okay. And then, the best thing they can do is they can do like a 20-minute call, and where they or somebody on their team, whoever they want, can come and we can actually play a couple rounds of the game so that they can experience it. And then they'll get a sense for if it's a good fit for what they're looking for.
Yeah. So we can give you our email as well. And that's hello@cozyjuicyreal.com. Very easy.
Awesome.
But yeah,
and again, I will also add that one on the bottom there. So what about the board game? Is it available for purchase, or are you still doing the Kickstarter? How's it working with the physical version?
Well, the Kickstarter went great and we far exceeded our goal, which is awesome.
Congratulations.
And so literally this week we press order on the many games that we're going to order, and they should arrive in the fall. Mm-hmm. So around November is what we're hoping for. So
nice.
Pre-Christmas. But yeah, super excited.
Perfect Christmas gift.
People can pre-order on the website now. So the Kickstarter's finished, but we've also got really good offers right now for like bundles on our pre-order
awesome.
Website. Oh, so it's on the website.
I'll make sure all of the links are right there. And again, I want to thank you for being the last guest that I have in my studio here. Because next one, it will be in a completely different place. People will be surprised. I hope I don't have to do it on the beach. But anywhere it will end up being, you guys are already part of the history of this place and of the podcast as well. So one more time, guys, I want to thank you for coming. Anything else you want to say, or anything, any shout out you have in the pockets, or?
I want to ask you a question, a cozy, juicy, or real question.
Please go for it. Yes.
Which one would you like to choose?
Cozy is like the easiest, get to know you questions. Juicy, share a little more. Real, share a little more.
Okay, we're gonna keep it balanced. We're gonna go for juicy because it's cool.
Ooh, yeah. All right, we're going for juicy. So
yeah, take a breath.
Okay, pressure's killing me here. All right, juicy.
Over the last few months, what's something meaningful that's happened in your life that the other players, us, might not know about. Something meaningful that's happened in your life over the last few months.
Well, you guys are already aware of this. We talked about it before the show, but yeah, I mean, to let people know that I decided to change my location, leave my house with my family, not leave my family, and take my whole family with me to an adventure and to live next to the beach and start a crazy business. That's something that is scary. It's killing me inside, but also I'm so excited about it. So that's the perfect question.
Awesome. Love it. I'm going to, okay, hang on.
Oh, give her a second.
Giving you a high five.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo. All right, guys. Well, thank you one more time to be in the show. Like I said before, I'm going to add all of your details into the description so people can reach out and learn more about Cause Is Real. And, well, thanks and all the best. Congratulations and good luck in all your future endeavors with them, CJ.
And to you too. Good luck with the move.
Yeah, good to see you, Marcos.
And hopefully see you in person one day.
Absolutely. You're welcome. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Okay, and that was our conversation. Again, these guys are amazing. I talked to them many years ago when they were just building this idea, and as you can see now, it became more than an idea. So let me do our classic swoop, which I was still a little melancholic that this is our last episode here, but let's go straight to the swoop. Okay, things I'm taking with me from this episode. You always find a solution looking around you, right? There's not a big process behind finding the right solution for the right problem and creating a product that they will solve that problem. The guys did it because it was based on their experience. Why there was something missing out there that they knew they could help, they knew they could create. So finding the inspiration on real life problems is a huge thing. Another thing that I took with me is that marketing is a big problem, or not a problem, but it's a big thing that you really need to think about. Jed and Sophia, they're still practicing and testing and doing new things with their marketing at the same time that they're improving and growing their company. So it's very important for you to remember that marketing is not going to be an exact science. This is something you have to develop throughout your journey. And if I have to keep another thing is the relationship too. Not always you're going to create a company with your partner, with your wife or girlfriend. But sometimes you will have to find the right co-founder. And the fact of finding someone with the same set of values and with ideas that complement yours, so it's not just one sort of straight line, it's an actual conversation of different points of views. That's what makes a company succeed. They did it very, very well by combining their superpowers into something great. So those are the things that I'm taking from this conversation that I'm definitely applying into my own business life. So let me just close this. Whoop. And yeah, I really want to thank you for this last 8 episodes that we've done together. This is sort of for me a half season, halfway. It's also the last episode we're recording here, like I mentioned before. And we will bring you more news about what's going to happen, where we're going to be doing the new episodes, and I'm preparing a very nice surprise for the next ones upcoming. So once again, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for your support. And I want to invite you to subscribe, to follow our social media channels, and to talk to us. We love talking to you. My name is Marcus. This is Passing the Torch, and I will see you next time. Cheers.